All right, everybody, welcome to the Cut to the Chase Sports Podcast. We're bringing unique insight analysis behind your favorite teams at the collegiate, professional levels. I'm your host, Chase Shantz. We're back at it here. Little Super Bowl week action. If you guys didn't watch that Super Bowl thing, go check it out. All that. We did a whole hour breakdown of it. But yeah, I'm Chase Shantz. To my right's Brady King. Brady, what's going on?
Not much. We got all three of us back. First time in a minute. We've had that since the national championship. So interesting to have the whole panel. And ready to get going.
Most definitely. And below we have Matthew Ricketts, who's about to celebrate a birthday here in a couple of days. Matt, what's going on?
What's going on, boys? It's been a while. We've got a wild off season going right now. Pretty crazy, but I'm excited to be back.
Most definitely. Yeah, it's been about a month since we've been back on here. It was a national championship preview, one that has caused a lot of controversy on our page, but I don't care. Who cares, man? Like the video, subscribe, do all that stuff, all the good stuff. We appreciate you guys tuning in and stuff. Yeah, pretty much. We're just going to talk about some stuff that's going on around the Big Ten, and Michigan's staff is just leaving right now. What is it? Jim Harbaugh goes to the Chargers, and a good amount of people just leave and go out to LA with them. And I'll pass over to Brady, just kind of, if everyone hasn't been exactly filled in just yet on who all the names are that left, fill us in a little bit, Brady.
All right. So they took Harbaugh took their defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter. I think he won the Broyles Award at least once. For top assistant or whatever. And then they took, they got Minter. They took the strength coach, which was pointless. Like, Harbaugh just did that. Harbaugh taking Ben Herbert, their strength coach, who's arguably the best coach they have, is just cruel. Like, if I was a Michigan fan, like, that would make me so mad, honestly. Like, because strength coach is not like as much of a desired position in the NFL as it is in college, because college kids aren't as developed when they get there. Body-wise. And so that is a big hit for Michigan. And then also their defensive line coach, Mike Elston, who's done a good job the past couple of years developing defensive linemen. Definitely a big loss. And then Jay Harbaugh also left. I don't think he went to the Chargers, though. He went to the Seahawks, maybe it was. Can't quite remember, but
I believe so.
Went to the Seahawks, which makes no sense. It doesn't, like, I thought he was going to the Chargers, but I guess not. And then there's also rumblings about Mike Hart or Steve Clinkscale, their defensive backs coach, also going. So we'll see what happens there. But basically, the Michigan staff has been pulled apart, and also there's all these rumblings that they don't want to spend a lot of money hiring a new staff. So they're not going to get top-tier guys to replace these guys with. They're getting guys that don't have much experience. But they got UConn's offensive coordinator from a couple of years ago who was fired in the middle of the season as their OC. And then their hires just make no sense. They really don't.
That's a big thing there. I mean, they really did just pick from that. Obviously, the entire Michigan football staff and just everyone went to the NFL, just like Harbaugh did. I mean, Harbaugh obviously won the national championship and he got another opportunity to go to the National Football League. Where I think he'll excel, but we could talk about that another time. Matt, your thoughts on the entire thing with a lot of Michigan guys going over to the NFL?
I think it's pretty crazy. I mean, they're in shambles right now. Michigan fans on Twitter don't want to hear it, but they are. The sanctions are coming, and Harbaugh just said, "Screw it, I'm taking everybody." I think it's crazy that he's taken all these guys, basically just gutting the roster, not the roster, coaching staff rather, just basically throwing them Sherrod Moore to the woods. Say, here you go, figure it the fuck out. I don't know how you're going to do it, but go ahead. So I do think it's pretty wild to give your first-time head coach, put him behind the eight ball like this in terms of building a staff. So I'm very surprised, very surprised.
It's also interesting that they all, wanted to leave after that national championship season. And you have to wonder, if the sanctions that are potentially coming down has to do with that, because they don't want to face those. So
Yeah.
they're bolting, and with Sharon Moore's probably going to have to face those himself, where he's really put in a bad situation. With Ward A. Man, I know they don't like their athletic director, Ward Manuel. They always say bad stuff about him. I'm not sure if I think it's all him. They blame him instead of Harbaugh for all this. Like Harbaugh takes a coach, and it's their athletic director's fault instead of Harbaugh wanting him. It's an interesting stance to look at it from, but yeah, this whole situation is crazy. Just people leaving left and right for Michigan, just wild stuff.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I know on the surface it's going to be, they're leaving because of the sanctions and stuff. And that's a big thing. It's probably the main reason. They don't want to deal with a lot of the consequences that come with it. But then again, we also don't know what most of the internal stuff that goes on inside of, a university and all that other stuff with, football staffing. If, there might have been an accident of those things where it's like, we need to get this job done so we can go up to the next level and try to win. But a lot of it's going to point back to, the fact that, the sanctions are going to be coming down here soon. So that's a big thing. But also, Brady, you mentioned earlier about how Ben Herbert leaving to go to the NFL is a weird thing. It really is, because he signed a contract in February, a 5-year contract to make him college football's newest $1 million strength and conditioning coach. And the breakdown of this was that he was set to collect a massive $400,000 signing bonus in addition to his $600,000 base salary in 2023, and see a significant pay bump in years 2 through 5 of the contract. And his annual base salary will increase to $900,000 in 2024 if he was still at Michigan. So he was going to be making a lot of money doing that. And the average strength and conditioning coach in the National Football League makes about $500,000 to $600,000 a year, which is still a lot of money. But he did take a cut off of this. I mean, he was $1 million man in the strength and conditioning world, so in college football. So it's pretty interesting to say the least that he decided to go up. He decided to make a jump to the pros, but then also take a dip in pay. We'll see. It's probably just the loyalty with Jim Harbaugh and the rest of those Michigan guys. So it'll be interesting to see how they do over there in Los Angeles and what the aftermath looks like in Michigan over this course of the offseason, which we will have the entire thing covered. Next up in the Ohio State world, Bill O'Brien. He's possibly leaving because of the Boston College head coaching opening. Jeff Hafley decided to leave. He became the new defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers, taking over a nice unit there, nice young unit over in Wisconsin. So he's got a chance to do some good things over there. But the void is open. Bill O'Brien potentially looks like the front runner for this job. I'll throw it over to Matt. Do you blame him for potentially taking this job at all? And what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
No, I don't blame him at all. I mean, his son, he's got a health issue. I believe it's his son.
It is.
He's back close to home anyways. New England-ish area, back towards Boston College anyways. So don't blame him at all. Honestly, I think it works out best for us. I don't want Ryan to hire a play caller. I'd rather him just call the plays, hire another guy to help with the offense, but I'd rather him be the play caller anyways. So to be honest with you, I think it works out fine. I think Ryan's going to end up hiring somebody, but we shall see. But I don't blame Bill O'Brien at all and wish him nothing but the best.
I do want to ask you a follow-up, though. So I know Brady obviously disagrees. I think that Brady was talking about he wants to have another actual play caller, and that takes the plays away from Ryan. That takes away the plays away from Ryan Day, so he can call his own stuff. And I'll get to you in just a second, Brady. But Matt, explain to me why you, in your stance, why you would want Ryan Day to continue calling the plays over the course of time instead of someone else.
I mean, you just look at the offenses we've had over his tenure as the offensive coordinator or head coach, depending on what year. In 17 and 18, we had good offenses as well. So I think he's had tremendous success most of the time with a great quarterback. I think with the talent we have coming back, there's no doubt we could have an explosive offense again. I think Kyle McCord handcuffed him last year, and I wouldn't put the play calling part on him. I wouldn't blame it on the play calling necessarily last year. I'd blame it on more so the recruiting, not going out and getting another quarterback when you know that we had Kyle last year, who obviously shit turd and all shit turds. So I think if you look at the two of the better games we've had over the past 5 or 6 years, I mean, the play calling against Georgia was unbelievable. I mean, the offense just played its best game by far. So I don't have any doubts about Ryan as a play caller. I'm all in.
All right. Send it over to Brady here. Brady, first answer the question about Bill O'Brien. Do you blame him, or like just the whole not blame him for taking this job or having the chance to take this job? And then I'll ask you to follow up in just a second.
No, I don't blame him. If he takes the job, it would make sense based off that situation.
Yep.
I do think that's like the key factor into him making. Like, I think if he gets the offer, he will take it, because it's him and Paul Chris battling for the job. And I wouldn't blame him, and it would hurt a little bit, but it also, like, there's other guys out there that Ohio State could hire to replace him. I'm sure Ryan talked to like 4 other guys, and he would circle back and offer one of them the job.
Yep, big thing there. Now, on your stance, on your end of it, why exactly would you want someone else to call the plays instead of Ryan Day?
Yeah, so it's not even really about Ryan Day's ability as a play caller to me. It's because when he has that, he even explained it himself in his press conference this morning. He can't think of other things throughout the week. He said he's thinking of what play to call on 3rd and 4 and at the 21-yard line, not other stuff he has to do as the head coach. And now he can be more involved with the special teams, which has been horrific, and other things like that, and be more of a CEO, as well as have his offense in and still help with the offense. But we could have another big-time play caller who, could go in there. And yeah, Matt's definitely right. I think he's overall a good play caller at times. And especially that Georgia game and Clemson in 2020. But there's other times where I think he's failed miserably. And I get we've had some great offenses, but those offenses have still underachieved at times based off the talent we had in some big games. I look back at like the Penn State game in 2021. We won the game. Oregon in 2021, Michigan both years with CJ, all those times where I just feel like we didn't maximize our opportunities there. But I still think if we hire another play caller, that it'll be Ryan Day's offense, which I do think he has a good scheme overall. And Ryan he's still going to be involved in the game plan. It's just we've got an offensive coordinator that's going to be locked in on play calling and play calling only.
Yeah. Overall, give me a guy that you would, if you were the one making the decision, that you would want to go out and get to be the OC.
I would honestly say Chip Kelly. He's had a lot of familiarity with Ryan Day. I don't think he wants to coach at UCLA anymore. There's rumblings that he's not happy there, and I think he would be okay in a coordinator role. So that would be an interesting choice. And then there's one other guy, the head coach of Toledo, Jason Candle. He's a good offensive mind. I know Ryan Day respects him, and I think he'd also be a good option. Matt,
if it came to that, if you were the one making the decision,
I don't want anybody.
But if just for the question, though, just for the question,
Matt disagrees with Ryan Day himself. Shame on him.
Kelly. Yeah, I do disagree with Ryan Day.
Okay.
Kelly.
All right. Cool. Just wanted to throw that out there, but yeah. So we'll obviously keep an eye on that because a lot of time that'll pass, over the Bill O'Brien situation. We'll see what happens with him. Wishing the best of luck. If he stays with Ohio State, if he goes to Boston College, wherever he goes. And now, again, we'll start introducing more of these, getting more breakdown to more of these teams as the offseason goes on. We'll see the spring practices, training, all this other stuff with other news that'll come with portal entrances and stuff. But 4 new teams in the in the Big Ten. I almost said Big 12 because I'm down there in Cincinnati, which there are 4 new teams in the Big 12 as well. But in the Big Ten specter, you've got, Washington, Oregon, UCLA, USC, all of those teams having interesting storylines throughout. UCLA, what'd you have? Dante Moore decided to leave, and transfer. Where'd he go to? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on college. Where'd he go to school at? He went to
Oregon.
Went to Oregon. So that's big. And then speaking of Oregon, they get Dylan Gabriel from Oklahoma, who had a really good season. He'll be the starting quarterback there. So, Oregon is loaded up right now. He replaces Bo Nix. And then if Dante Moore replaces, Dylan Gabriel, talk about an absolute tree of, quarterbacks that are being replaced on end. I mean, it's incredible what Oregon's been able to do at the quarterback position. And then Washington, all the stuff there, they had a lot of guys leaving for the draft this upcoming off season. You got, Kalen DeBoer takes over at Alabama. There's just a lot of new stuff that's having to be fixed in, up there in Seattle. And then, USC is always going to be, a big cash cow, money juggernaut, all that. Miller Moss threw a boatload of touchdowns in their bowl game, and he's going to be big talk of the offseason with him and Lincoln Riley. So they're obviously going to bring a lot of headlines. But let me start here, though. Brady, you're raving about this Oregon team potentially. What do you like about them?
I just think that they are very complete. They have a lot of returning production on defense, and the offensive additions and their defensive additions in the portal are like they're the only portal class that I would put like right up to Ohio State's in terms of like they have more. I'm pretty sure they have more portal gets than us, but they have top guys just like Ohio State does. They got the Washington corner Jabbar Muhammad, who was really their only good defensive player last year. That's huge for them, which is crazy because he went to Washington's rival. That just would never happen these days, Ohio State, Michigan. Anyways, Evan Stewart on offense, unreal get. He's going to be an absolute stud for them. And they've also got like a lot of like smaller pieces too, other than obviously Dylan Gabriel, quarterback. Like we can't forget that, and Dante Moore. But they've got other guys too to fill in at other positions, like plug and play guys that are just going to be amazing for them. And overall, I think Oregon's a top 3 team heading into next year.
Going to be big going forward to keep an eye on Oregon and all the stuff they have there. Matt, is there, other than Oregon, of the 3 teams, USC, UCLA, Washington, is there a team that's, really catching your eye in a good way, a bad way? You're just questioning them a lot. Like what team is sticking with you?
No, absolutely not. I think Washington is going to take a step back. I think USC is going to be average. And I think UCLA with the quarterbacks leaving and then Chip Kelly and flux right now, we don't really know exactly what we're getting out of the Bruins coming in. So, but Oregon, yes, they are going to be very good. I think they're a top 3 or 4 team coming into next season. Obviously, with Dylan Gabriel and all the guys they've added to the portal, and plus on top of the returning production, they're going to be a very good team. Just looking ahead, October 12th, it's going to be a huge game in Autzen Stadium. It's going to be loud as shit for the Buckeyes up there. So I'm excited for that one already. And realistically, that's our first test. We're going to be cakewalking through the schedule until October 12th. We don't play anybody. So we played some bad teams to start the year. So circle that. Let's just get to October 12th. I'm ready. Woo!
Yeah, big game on the road. Probably going to be a night game if I had to assume. Maybe our good friend No Equal, and then we'll be on the call. But that's a long time down the road. But yeah, I will say this, Matt. We didn't get a chance to talk to you about the recruits that came in, the new transfers and all that stuff. We did an episode a couple weeks ago about that with all the guys that came in. But you're looking at the top names. You had there's so many names. Will Howard, you had Quinshawn Judkins, you had Caleb Downs, Julian Sayin transferred from Bama over to Ohio State. And then obviously we got our, recruits in, that came in for the 2024 winter and spring practices, Jeremiah Smith and Aaron Nolan and all of them that are there. But Matt, just Who's the one guy that we got in the transfer portal that just caught your attention completely?
Hell, I mean, everybody caught my attention. Caleb Downs was huge. I mean, just the number one player in the portal. He was just huge. He's so good. I mean, he's going to come in. Hopefully, he returns kicks. Hopefully, they let him return punts as well. So, I mean, Caleb Downs is a freak. So, Caleb Downs would be my answer. But,
okay.
I mean, we got I mean, we're filling holes everywhere. I mean, we didn't even need him, but we got him. Seth McLaughlin was another pickup from Alabama who's great for giving us more flexibility up front, depending on where they end up playing him. Probably center, but we'll see. I mean, we are freaking loaded. We're loaded everywhere. We have the best roster in the sport right now, so we should win the entire thing.
I'm gonna throw it back. I'll throw it right back to you. Okay, Quinshon Judkins. Just the first thing that you think of when you see him play.
First thing I think of. I mean, I think he's our best back. If you ask me that, I mean, I think he's going to be more consistent. The reason I say he's our best back is because I don't think Trey can make it through a season healthy. So the addition of adding, or the addition of another elite back is crazy. I don't know.
See, I agree with you, but why did you say something that has happened already? Like, come on, man. I agree with that point, but he literally was healthy the entire 2021 season. Trey.
I'm so confused right now. What?
No, I said I agree with your point that Trey's Trey always gets hurt and stuff. But then you ruined your point when you said I don't think he can go through the entire season healthy when he started his freshman year and played every game.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think he can do it. I don't.
But he already
he did it in 21.
No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, the last 2 years he's done it. I don't think okay, whatever.
I'm not even disagreeing with you.
I don't think he will go through next season fully healthy. There you go.
All right, cool. And then Will Howard. I'm throwing it right back to you, Matt. Will Howard. Just
I think he could be a very, very good quarterback. I mean, he's not CJ or Justin or Dwayne, but he's mobile, something we didn't have last year. Obviously, Kyle, God, he sucks. But
sorry.
He can move. He's a good thrower of the football, too. So I think Will be a very good player. I mean, he's definitely a national championship caliber quarterback with the team we have around him.
Yeah. Going to be very exciting. And we got a lot of time to talk about this stuff throughout the offseason. You know, we finally made the February. Super Bowl going through right now. We'll get through March Madness. The draft talk, position breakdown is going to be big. Not many Ohio State players in the draft this year, so it's a good thing. But, you know, our top players and, you know, Marvin Harrison Jr. and really about it. Mike Hall there. But and then we'll have you guys covered with spring game stuff, stuff in the summer, maybe have some interviews with some people. We'll see what's going on, but we'll have this off season covered pretty much for the most part. So again, appreciate you guys tuning in. Brady, Matt, you guys got anything before we get out of here?
The best player from Ohio State in this draft is actually our tight end, Cade Stover. So
he's a matchup problem, that's all I'll say. Matt.
I'm good. Go Bucks.
All right, cool. All right, guys, we'll see you.